taken out of the pool as well, since not a whole lot of people are playing Seraphine in isolation.
I'm surprised that this is a Rumble ban for BLG. We've only seen Zweon play this champion once this split, and it has been the most banned champion by Top Esports on both sides. A 61% overall ban rate for them. So kind of interesting to see that that is BLG's adaptation in this series. Rise first pick, good for Creme. I think Creme's best traits as a mid laner has been his ability to move into side lanes, pick up gold, and then be relevant in fights. Also, this champion is incredibly powerful now in lane, thanks to things like DFT being introduced.
I really like the idea of us grabbing Lucian for BLG. This has the potential to be a playthrough bot lane game. I know that it makes no sense based on what we've seen from BLG so far, because they haven't really played through bot lane, but I have to emphasize again that that is something I want to see. I want to see BLG, especially with the one game lead that they have, with the insane lead that they have on their group going into playoffs. Try things that are a little bit different. Expand their horizons when it comes to how they will win games in the playoffs and beyond. Yunara locked in is the answer to Lucian Melio, and Alulu has to go with that.
Let's get some diversity here for BLG. We want to see different styles that they can win through. That isn't just Knight, because maybe it's not going to be consistent. Although, from what we've seen this split, it seems like it has been a fairly good way to win the game. Gnar blind is interesting because if Top Esports actually have the cojones to pull it off, you can just play Rise top lane. And we've actually seen it start to climb a little bit in presence internationally. So I like the respect that BLG are showing, getting rid of the Vayne. You already know that Varus isn't going to be here. And the next most likely champion that Zweon would pick is Ambessa, but might just be fine with some of the nerfs that this champion has been receiving so far this split. So Top Esports are going to be incredibly strong on 2 and 3 items, Dia. We said that last game, and by the time they got to that mark, the game was over.
I miss Knight on pre-nerf Ambessa. That was... or Zweon, rather, on pre-rework Ambessa. That was just absolutely disgusting, the way that he was able to isolate AD carries in the back line. Wouldn't mind seeing it again, even post the touch-ups that Ambessa has received. However, with a Xin Zhao ban, it has come to my attention that despite the Nocturne that I talked about earlier, nobody's actually looked at their junglers or their jungle pool just yet, and that'll likely be snapped up in likely this pick for BLG, if I had to guess.
If this is going to be Yunara and Rise, the team is rather low range. We could see a Skarner here for Shun. It does allow for him to be aggressive early and look for plays. Could also be a Maokai. I think that would be fine, especially if we're talking about trying to set up the rest of the team. But what am I kidding? Pantheon is still up. Why not just pick this champion? And you can have map pressure basically at any time you go into Fog of War, which is just a big cheat code, and I think is especially important for BLG, who love to be overextended on side lanes with their solo lanes.
Yeah, this works very, very well, especially with, as you're talking about, your ability to answer global pressure, the likes of which Creme does have access to. Wondering what'll come out of the mid lane for BLG, though. Top Esports are considering their answer, the Ambessa that you called out earlier. Nerfed, but not forgotten. We'll return to the top lane.
And we're getting a Lee Sin maybe here for TN. Kind of got clapped up the last time we did see it, so maybe a little less excited, but hey, there's a Gnar in the game. There's a Lucian Melio. There's a lot of potential for him to outplay here in this game. So Top Esports incredibly strong on 2-3. That is still the case. We are getting an Anivia here.
Hey.
Another unique champion for Knight.
And Anivia into, as you mentioned, a relatively short-range composition feels really good. Anivia should be able to do a lot in this game for BLG, and very different look, of course, from the LeBlanc that we had in game number 1. Yet another chance for Knight to show us how flexible he is.
Dude, I love Anivia so much. I think in this draft, you talked about the short range. As long as he does not get abused, I mean, I just think that her Pillar or her Ice Wall is probably one of the most broken spells in the game. How short range this team comp can be, but he needs to be careful. Mbessa ultimate, Lee Sin, these are two champions that are going to essentially dive onto him, but he's going to be unkillable past the 2-item mark. And to note, this is now Knight's first ever Anivia game in Pro. So we're going to be seeing a debut here. And again, he has been pulling out the most unique champions so far, currently on 16 unique different mid laners.
Intimidating to go up against even a first time in Pro when game one went the way that it did, but it's the only chance that we've really got as top esports. Hopium Dispensers is taking out this Anivia, finding a way to eliminate Knight early, and that is going to be tough, especially when you've got Viper and On with Lucian Belio early on. The potential to play through bot lane still there. In game two, we'll see what happens.
So, Dia?
How you doing?
Why are my bot lanes fist fighting to the death before the wave has even come back?
Yeah. I was watching that go down and thinking, we don't die here. We're all fine. We're gonna let the Gios finish. And
yeah.
As
You're
much
right.
as that is true, it's still an issue for BLG.
I'm looking at jungles right now. Shun going for Raptors into Krugs. Most likely he is going to finish his clear and continue moving up towards the top side, but Tien went Raptors on Vision, by the way, and goes right to his blue buff. He's going to be trying to get here fast. I love that we're getting a lot of skirmishing between these two bottom lanes. I think that Yunara level 1 with Lulu is so much stronger.
Fengyue, no flash now, but a flash burn from Shun on JiaQi level force his. No summoners bot lane right now, and Shun collects first blood. Top esports for all the blood they spilled have overextended, and Shun in trouble as well. Will grab a double kill before Tien ultimately collects this kill, surely.
Yeah, double kills now. Both junglers, two kills in. That's good for top esports, I think. But Viper's going to still collect this wave if he really wants to, and seems like he's going to catch himself a recall. Small mistake there, I would say, but I think a good punish from BLG that Fengyue just decided, I'm flashing forward, Pantheon's not going to be here, and immediately we got to see that answered.
And it's all set up by the pathing that you talked about earlier. Shun rushing down to bot lane because he knew there was no other choice, especially with Viper as low as he was. Didn't really get to approach the play. Viper still collects 1 assist, but that was largely a gank to help bring your bot lane back into things. Thank God it resulted in a double kill for Shun.
Am I allowed to quote for BLG that actually Shun dying there is massively OP? I mean, just look at the items between the junglers. He's got triple longsword. Tien still hasn't recalled. If Shun is smart, or maybe just makes the call here, especially with their bottom lane looking for a recall, he could actually go for double scuttle and still have some of his camps available to him. Maybe even go for a Raptors invade. This would be a very big win for BLG if that is something that ends up occurring.
I'd like to see it, to be honest. I don't think it's cope, mainly because it happened so early on into the game that recalling is not that much more efficient. Arguably more efficient to die.
Swayon might get this. I mean, Lee Sin's in the area.
Ben's walking back into lane. He is about to go mini. And Tien could visit top lane. There's no vision around for BLG.
There are many moments, Dia, that I wish we had our own observer client, because I would love to just pan over to Swayon's camera or his individual champion, click on Mbessa, and see if Electrocute is up. Because this is basically a window where I think as long as Bin doesn't have Mega, he can actually just find it all in. There we go.
There's Electrocute. And 200 HP on Bin, still pretty far away from Mega. Swayon gets to keep zoning him for free. However, Tien has moved down to the bot side. No double scuttle for Shun. He chose not to take advantage of the early triple longsword that he picked up, but Tien's moving down to the bot lane. This is on Vision. BLG know that it's coming and have no choice but to leave their wave in this awful position or step up. Shun's not there yet.
Yeah, Shun's going to have to wrap around mid, but he gets spotted on this ward. I think the scary part now for BLG is that Rise is about to have access to Realm Warp, so they can make cross-map plays or look fast on bottom lane, maybe move into mid. Shun has no ult. I mean, the wall was good. I still think the wall could have been good there, but Knight isn't able to find anything.
Feel really bad for the BLG bot lane. Viper and On really are getting their wave abused right now. Tien owns the bot side of the map as Shun has once again moved up towards top lane. Creme is running mid lane, and like you said, now has Realm Warp available. Viper and On should
Creme's
not
dead.
be able to play this game comfortably. Oh. Blade.
I'm sorry, Dia.
That wall was... No, if that wall was like 20 milliseconds earlier, I think he dies.
This is the funny part about Anivia. When you put down the wall, there's always a chance that the champion just kind of gets booted over to the other side, especially if you put it directly on top of them. Fun note, by the way. I don't actually... So, if I remember how DFT is worded, might have to hold this. Could be a solo.
Bin's about to pop out of Mega. Gets grabbed by Zweon just before, but Zweon's still falling low. This could go either way. Flash from Bin to finish off the kill. Forces Zweon to flash away. That was close. I did not know which way we were going.
That was a nutty interaction from Bin. I know it was Zweon using the ultimate to buffer Gnar stun, but Bin in the middle of that or before that channeled a Q, so he was also able to get more damage onto Zweon while he was in his ult channel. So really smart stuff, and now we have no summoner spells. Guess what? Shun's gonna have ultimate, and when this wave crashes onto the turret, Zweon's gonna push this back out, and this could be something that Shun could look for to open up a lead in top lane.
And when we look at bot lane, Dragon has spawned. BLG have got push in the bot side of the map as well. So the opportunity to rotate onto that, but we haven't seen a Realm Warp used just yet. And I'd really like to see some global action from Creme as we get a little further into this game.
Okay, they'll have access to bottom lane wave. Tien gets another scuttle on bot. Should be good to even them out. You know, surprisingly, with both of our junglers having 2 kills, after the, again, Armageddon that was the early portion of the bottom lane, they actually haven't gotten too much action. And Pantheon is looking top lane. I think Zweon needs to be a little bit careful. I think that's why he goes into Fog of War. He does not want to get played on.
Heal burn bot side as Fengyue does get to zone out both On and Viper. They've got Tian in the area, and Shun actually gets spotted. Zweon's all over him, but Knight's on the way.
There's no ult.
This wall is going to be deadly, and out comes the ult as well. Glacial Storm whittling away at Zweon. That is going to be another kill going to BLG that they trade for a dragon to top.
I would have loved if it was just a dragon for top esports. Zweon, all you needed to do was go into Fog of War. You don't need to be fighting here. He didn't even actually have his ultimate quite back up yet.
Tian's ganking though. I think we could pop egg here. Knight flashes, but an ult kick from Tian right back into the river is going to hurt. Shun's shown up. Can he keep the egg alive? No! Knight gets scrambled before his eyes, and top esports equalize the play, maybe even turn this into Void Grubs.
So here is the line of play that happens. Zweon gets killed in the mid play, then Knight dies here, and now that means that top esports get the dragon and the grubs. So I'm still not happy with Zweon dropping out of Fog and dying there, but in a similar vein to how we saw Game 1 kind of pan out, because BLG are extending themselves to find these fights, it is opening leads for top esports to get these objectives. 3 grubs going over to this team is great. Can they hit the turrets though? That's going to be a question for later. I think it's great for Creme, who, I mean, on Rise is going to be a very big pain point later, but will he have time to hit these turrets? That's another question that'll have to be asked.
Play in the mid lane did cost Knight his flash, and Creme still has his. Tien flashes up as well, so when we get ults back, there's a chance that we revisit the mid lane and can engage from a pretty ridiculous distance. We're threatening that around top side. Has been Getting zoned off the wave by Zweon. Is going to get run at, but BLG have certainly got the members here to deal with it. Tien goes low and is assassinated by Shun as Zweon is able to answer back, going 1 for 1 so far, but sure to die to, again, Shun and Knight. Kill going to Shun for a double, and it will be a BLG that defend appropriately. That was an aggressive play by Top Esports.
Yeah, you saw it. Like, they know, hey, Rise isn't here. He has Roam Warp. Are they going to go for a play on top side? Knight roams over, and he still gets to collect his mid-wave and hopefully equalize this play. Rise is basically playing Michelin Man. He is running all over the map to try to look for plays, look for skirmishes, maybe open up some kind of leads elsewhere on the map, but it is kind of just not working, and I think at the detriment of this top lane matchup, Zweon is just dying on repeat. It's a 300 gold lead, he's down 20 CS, and the Snar is still going to be relevant later on into the game.
Tien's been spotted, and I don't think that he knows it either. Shun shows up to the lane, and they're not quite enraged to land a stun, but JiaQi Love goes low either way and is going to be forced to back. Viper gets to push in this wave. It's another play that BLG come out on top of by being in the right place at the right time.
Tien's most likely going to be able to get out of this in time. I mean, you're walking into Knight, which might be a small problem. BLG are just winning every round on the map right now. They are getting push in mid for free because you're playing Rise into Anivia. Bot lane's winning. Zweon.
Top lane is getting solo killed. Surely Zweon dies here, as one more auto would do it underneath the tower. Zweon flashes away, but Bin flashes for him, securing the kill and another solo to him in 2 games.
Tien's trying to fix this problem. He doesn't have flash, he doesn't have kick, and he's not going to find this kill. He's trying to look for... He's trying to go over. He's going to dive him underneath the turret. He has to predict the Q. Big waste of time. Guess what? Guess who is still here? Okay, you got the TP from Knight. Cool. Dia, I am very, very much in despair for Top Esports. It almost feels like they are getting a bit desperate now to look for something, and Tien is basically all over the map trying to look for anything.
What was that the BLG said in their interview? So the true farce or something like this?
The farce is over. The true farce is over.
Yeah. That's seeming especially true with how much BLG have been winning these plays by. It is only 6-4. This is a much more even game than we had in our first time around, but BLG look like they are mind controlling TES and their position on the map, always answering wherever they are finding Tien or even predicting Tien to be. Say nothing of Creme's map pressure, because BLG have just as much, if not more than that, especially with Shun having ult up now. BLG are not running out of options anytime soon.
We see a lead here in bottom lane for 1,000 gold. Top lane is essentially 800 here for both Bin and Shun. And I think the only thing that Top Esports have going for them is they have been able to grab at least the first dragon of the game. But without any bot pressure, it seems like they're going to yet again make a play here for Bin. But do they have the time to do so? I mean, Tien's coming out of base now. You're giving up the entire bot lane turret for this. This needs to be a big win for Top Esports. Otherwise, I'm going to consider this a failure and one where BLG are absolutely going to abuse them for.
Top Esports pulled 4 people up the top side. They lose the bot lane tower and they lose the dragon, and they get nothing for it. They are going to try and take down this tower, at least equalize that, but it is a trade down, make no mistake, for Top Esports.
And look at this, Lucian is still pushing. There's going to be 4 people on top side here. I think BLG are big winners. And guess what now? I mean, Anivia is going to be coming soon.
Peeling off the tower as well. Top Esports are not getting the structure. They're aiming for the fight, and they are able to burst down Bin before he becomes Mega. Into the fight comes Shun. We've actually pulled Viper away from the bot lane, moving him into mid to get a few plates there. BLG do just need to stall, but as Knight gets turned into an egg, maybe there's an angle here for Top Esports to punish. JiaQi Love picks up the kill, and they'll get 2 kills, plus this top lane tower that they get to return to. It's cost them a little bit of a lead on Viper, but Top Esports do effectively trade something.
Honestly, I'm just happy that that worked for Top Esports, because this makes this game significantly more interesting.
Wait a minute.
Viper!
Goes for it, does not find the kill, but Tien recommits onto him, and Viper snaps down on his face.
Wow. Incredible there for the AD carry of BLG to win that play, gets the bottom lane turret, and they can continue to squeeze plates out of mid. Great job from BLG to answer, but I mean, top esports, that was a massive investment going into top. I'm honestly just surprised that JiaQi Love's Arc of Ruin, even while Transcendent did that much damage, he didn't have the Kraken Slayer before that fight. So they needed to find those 2 kills. And it cut into some of the gold lead there. Definitely one where BLG are still coming out ahead, or at the very least even.
Much trouble is Creme in. Nara into the wall. Bin shouldn't be able to solo kill him. Doesn't have flash and will burn Creams. It is still a positive play for BLG, though, as Bin now gets all this nice time alone with the tower to pick up 2 plates and burn a teleport off of Sueyo.
Still a turret plate, and for BLG, you know there's someone out on the map. They get another objective. Herald here, which I know we haven't talked too much about it. I mean, top esports are the ones with 3 grubs. A Herald essentially means that this next dragon is extremely free to play as BLG, and if they want to, they don't even have to go for it. They can just use it as either an additional combat tool or just siege onto this mid lane tier 1. You talked about a diversity of strategies here for BLG, and it's been a silent killer in this game, but I think Viper is going to be able to take over in a way that we haven't been able to get too much throughout the regular season here.
Yeah, I was thinking just that when he turned around the play in the 1v2, waited for his team to show up. Viper, during the regular season, plays that with a lot less confidence. Plays it a little further back, a little safer. The way that we're seeing Viper operate right now, this is the kind of carry player that everybody thinks of when they remember Viper's name. Does eat quite a bit of damage off of JiaQi Love. Pops calling right back, but Swayon is into the backline. Viper pops barrier just to survive, and Swayon is forced to back away. No kills going down on either side, but it is top esports that are forced to retreat.
Very close that we didn't see a kill go down there. It's even, but you're happy as BLG. You just got two flashes out of that play. That's a minute before the dragon spawns. Not going to be a happy camper if you are top esports here and you're still going to lose a plate on top side. We saw an interview, or maybe just a recorded piece of content from BLG, where Danny spoke about the importance of Viper to this roster. Just noticing that he is a player that does sacrifice a lot for the way this team tends to play. Again, we look at the solo lanes, we look at how Knight is playing, but he is still obviously a player that has a lot of individual skill, so when given the reins to do so, he's going to take over, and I'm glad we get to see him now with on playing Melio, who kind of has to play at the hip with his AD carry.
Let's Viper move forward safely, and Shun now playing frontline for him, could even secure this blue buff. It's going to be a small piece taken away from top esports, but notably, we've entered the stage of the game where Tien no longer has the jungle to call his own. We'll have to settle for the wolves as waves crash in to both bot and mid. And we're fighting for every inch of vision, and it is a losing battle for top esports, who have a BLG very ready to pick a fight.
Just looking at items right now, Knight, I mean, he is 3 minutes ahead on his Rod of Ages. And instead of going for any Seraph's items, he's actually just going for more damage. This could actually be an actualizer coming through for Knight. I love this. Anivia, if you guys just get more actives or more abilities, you just rotate more spells, more walls even, potentially. And now with a Pantheon, you lose access to more of the mini-map. So with all this vision getting choked out, especially bottom lane, I'm looking at all these wards that are placed by BLG. I think top esports are playing with a very, very narrow portion of the rift.
With that narrow bit, I'm thinking of what top esports can do. This game, while it has been very controlled by BLG, does have avenues for top esports surely to come back into it. A large part of that resting on Tien and what he's able to do on Lee Sin. You expressed doubts about what Lee Sin could do in this game. We are going to have to find out sooner than later as JiaQi Love pops ult and Creme pops flash. Top esports burned a lot just to survive. They want to fight, but they can't find an angle. And without Tien, setting them up for it. Top Esports won't be making a play anytime soon.
And then Shun just steals some of the Raptors over the wall. What are we even supposed to do as Top Esports? Everything's getting taken from you. You get nothing in return. You can't even fight back at this point. BLG are just pinning them down in front of the locker. They're saying, like, here you go, little bro. You can just keep taking these knuckle sandwiches.
Worried about Top Esports' chances is what I'm taking away from it. And honestly, what I am trying to give right now. As much as I
goodbye, JiaQi Love.
Believe in our chance to come back, there are times when the game is far gone enough that it seems impossible. We saw it in Game 1, and we are seeing a similar situation, albeit with a smaller gold lead, develop in Game 2. Viper really able to play large and in charge with, as you talked about, on his hip.
He's got the big iron, and he's got the little iron. That's what the Emilio is. He's got the big iron on his hip. Do you get that reference?
A blacksmithing reference? I was trying to
No!
figure it out.
All right, so there's this little game called Fallout New Vegas. There's a very famous song that's part of the that's part of it. I'll show you later. Big Iron on his hip. It's a great song. It's very catchy. But oh no, Fengyue!
Oh, that blast cone was from hell, actually.
You know, it's not the first time we've seen
down.
Fengyue.
I will note we're 21 minutes into the game. Baron is up. Top Esports trying to defend their tier 2 in top lane. Could lose a whole lot more than just that.
That is not the first time I've seen a blast cone grief from Top Esports. Remember I don't know if you remember the very first series I think we saw from them in Split 2. Fengyue hit a blast cone, or JiaQi Love hit a blast cone. It threw Fengyue into the rest of his team, and he just died immediately.
I think I do remember that.
And it's going to happen again. Oh! Thank you to our observers. Not much to commentate on that. That is just a very funny play, and kind of just maybe the tail of the tape here for Top Esports in this series.
That's a it is what it is moment. You just, you leave that. You can't afford to be tilted off it. Can't afford to really make any assumptions. I am being heartbroken by what is going on with Tian right now. Again, a lot of pressure on him to do anything, and with literally every Q that he misses, his teammates are losing more and more health. Creme is taking the fight with Viper right now, getting completely outranged and blasted by the culling. And Bin shows up with the Gnar as well. Zweon's in the back line, and Viper not only kites him out, but gets aggressive trying to finish off this kill. An auto would do it. Zweon is so low, but JiaQi Love will fall first to Knight. A spear connects from Shun, taking out Zweon at long last, and it is 2 kills to nothing. Make it 3 as Zweon's spear collects another cheeky kill. Inhibitor tower going to go down, and surely Baron to follow.
Oh boy. Well, it looks like more of the same story from game number 1, folks. BLG in commanding lead. It looks like they're going to finish off, or this series anyway, 11-2. And maybe we start having that discussion about Top Esports. How good are they going to be looking in the postseason? How are they going to be able to perform in the playoffs when they have now lost almost 3 of their last 4? We look back at this play, I mean, Mega Gnar TP, it hits 2 of the carries for Top Esports. And Zweon's in the back line. You were hyping up this Ambessa, but it has just looked worse and worse here in this game. Zweon has definitely fallen off when it comes to his individual performance. And Top Esports, their early games have been really detrimental. Just the ultimate landing there from Shun gets that kill. And now they have Baron. Dragon goes over to Top Esports, but I think that's really kind of the only good thing I can say that's happened to them in the last 4 minutes.
Caught between wanting to defend Zweon and wanting to cast this game. It's an uncomfortable position for me, if I'm honest, but seems we'll just have to cope. Viper Gonna collect a little more CS as Shun helps grab the blue buff for BLG. A reminder that TN has absolutely no jungle to play with, and Viper has all of the space in the world. Teleport behind, though. TES want to find a play, a Realm Warp directly on top of Viper to assassinate him, to take him out. Will work. JiaQi Love grabs the shutdown on Viper, and Shun, next up on the chopping block, is already had a public execution thrown at him and is going to take a whole lot more damage on top of that. Falling again. Top Esports, they get 2 kills. They get nothing else.
Lovely banner from the LPL, just showing both Shun and Viper and what their gold leads have done, and then they die right before this play. They're trying to catch out TN. That's a lot of hyper procs.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
More
I still don't know if this gets them back into the game, but that was a 3,000 gold lead thrown away by BLG as Top Esports punish their opponents. They won't get the turret plates. They need to defend their Nexus turrets. And they used a lot of spells, and it'll be up in time for the Dragon. I just don't know if it'll have that impact. We still have 3 minutes. BLG can still bounce back and still get themselves in a good enough spot where I think they're going to be in an advantage going into that Dragon.
I mean, what we saw from Top Esports in that game, or in that play, teleport flank and Realm Warp 3 people on top of Viper. If that's happening again, if the attention of BLG is being split thus, Top Esports can win a fight. It is, however, a correctable mistake by BLG.
I love when Lulus, and this is an aside, but I love when Lulus play Alistar. Flash, ultimate, it's almost a headbutt pulverize. We're coming back to another fight, but it seems like we're going to get a walled off fight. Okay.
Cozy Campfire making the culling hurt that much more. And BLG again run the top side. No objectives up for the next little while. 3 minutes out on Baron, 2.5 on Dragon. Mean the BLG just get to keep playing this Siege game.
And that's going to be essentially the name of this game now. Anivia being level 16, she gets to wall everything off. I'm glad that we're seeing that actually play in Fog of War. You guys will never see me slander this Anivia champion. I love her so much. I think she's incredibly broken. And I also think we have not seen the fullest extent of this champion played in pro play. It's obviously Knight's very first Anivia game in his pro career. And he still looks fine, but there are so many cool things you can do with wall and having the frostbite that it's just, I want to see more of this champion, and maybe out of the hands of some of our top laners.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering, because this is Knight's first game on Anivia in professional play, how are we feeling about it so far?
It's been all right. This is a game that gets a little hectic for him, like we mentioned. Like, Mbessa and Lee Sin are not really champions that Knight wants to play against as Anivia, but he's played a decent game, and it is a pretty decent gold lead that has gone over to Creme, but I just think Anivia's impact is going to be felt much more than Ryze has, and we'll see if that continues to be the case. It's been okay. I would probably give him like a 7 out of 10, but I would also be willing to maybe like give up the fact that his team is winning, so it just looks better.
Yeah, it has definitely been helped that Viper is a monster in this game and is constantly rocketing forward. Shun, 2,500 gold advantage to his side, has also been playing a really good front line. Bin, funnily enough, hasn't really been frontlining nearly as much as he has been flanking. Fair enough for both Bin and the champion, but really Shun impressing me with his Pantheon. Not the sort of map, globally active Pantheon that I am a particular fan of in the early and mid game, but when we've gotten into these later game fights, the 20 to 30 minute fights, Shun has been playing a really, really good peeler enabler for Viper.
Agreed. Dragon's up, and guess what? Top Esports can't do anything. There's no waves for them to play around. All of the waves for BLG were pushed out when they took their recall, so Soul Point's going to be theirs to claim. Got Baron up in 30, and right now Top Esports are trying to reclaim Vision on the top side. Pretty important for them to do so, as I think a Baron for BLG, I think outright kind of ends the game, if not close to it. We'll see if they can really do much. They do have a good spot, I think, here for Top Esports. the fact that they found that play on the bottom side like 4-ish minutes ago made the game a lot more even to play, and JiaQi Love is sitting on 3 items. If he can get another one, or even if they take a fight now, I think it's probably as good as it's going to get for them going forward.
3 critical tools for top esports: Realm Warp, Dragon's Rage, and Public Execution. 1, if not 2 of those, need to be killing carries on BLG. And I have perhaps been a little too harsh with TN this game, but I'm going to maybe do it again.
Okay.
TN has been the lackluster part of that combination. Realm Warps have been alright, Public Executions have been in the right place. Lee Sin has been doing a fat lot of nothing this game. And Tien needs to be the one who is really getting active in this fight that is, as you say, the best it is going to get for top esports.
Well, I'm hoping, because All Pro's coming up, and we do have some discussions. Knight obviously #1 in mid lane, but we're going to be ending voting at the very, very start of the 19th. So you guys have a little under 3.5 days at this point to get your votes in. You can join our community Discord. If you're on our Twitch chat, you can just hit _Discord and get in on the votes. See whether or not you and your fellow community members all agree on who's going to be All Pro. I think a game like this is, or a series is going like this is going to, I think, dictate who is some of our All Pro votes. I know, depending on how BLG close this weekend out, probably Bin might see himself as #1, which may have shocked some fans midway through the split.
Definitely would have surprised me. I mean, also, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple people dropping places based on this series, which, you know, I love our players. I'm not going to play them. I'm not going to play them. Tien, though?
Tien lost the MVP vote like 2 weeks ago, unfortunately, to me.
Yeah. I really need him to get a good Dragon's Rage, a good one. It doesn't even have to be great. It doesn't have to be game winning. It just has to be good.
This could be it. Never mind. Oh!
Dwayne doesn't get to use Public Execution anymore. And you know what? As much as I wanted to sway on defend earlier, I may have to wait now. That was a gorgeous wall, though. And Shun rockets right over it, gets popped into GA, and that just lets Viper walk further forward out of GA. Shun will go, taking out Tien. It's 2 kills for free that get given over to top esports. And another wall, another Glacial Storm is going to make Creme's life miserable, even as he fires back at Shun underneath the tower. Realm Warp gets him out. Realm Warp gets top esports out. The 3 surviving members live to fight another day.
Inhibitor goes down, and look, they're going to take their recalls. They might just go to Baron immediately there. Knight with a flash wall, gets so many flashes out from top esports, forces them out of the top side jungle. I mean, we were asking for Tien to do anything. Look at this play from BLG, how fast that they snap here onto the rest of top esports. A single out of vision stun from BLG's mid laner, catches Sway on, and then this from Knight. 3 people over the wall, flashes immediately from top esports, and I think the fight from there is just BLG favored all the way through. Incredible execution coming in from our first place team, and if they would have gotten more, that could have been their nexus going down for top esports.
Fortunately enough, Creme is able to do something as we cut back to live. Knight has misstepped horrendously, getting taken out in the mid lane, and Baron is still up. Top esports, they may not have killed a jungler, but there's a chance they fight for this. They should fight for this.
I think it's your best chance. I mean, 40 seconds, it's going to be a 4-on-5. If we do not win this next fight as top esports, the game is just over. We're going to have Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, and that would be Soul here for BLG.
Shun waiting over the wall, half HP on Baron. Viper has got to be the one to create space, but he doesn't have Shun as the front line. In's going to go the Pantheon, playing around the edge, but top esports really want to assassinate him. 5,000 left on the Baron. 4, 3, Shun is in the pit, and as he tries to close this one out with the Q smite, it will be top esports that secure the Baron. BLG got to head for the hills as Viper, 200 HP, will be sniped out by Tien. What a redemption arc for the jungler of top esports.
He throws in a single Dragon's Ray, or he throws in the Sonic Wave. He finds that kill, but that was all set up by Creme. Now here, 34 minutes, Dia. We are 13-14. The Dragon is going to be started, but is Bin going to walk over? I mean, there's no jungler. We're going to 7 dragons here. How did this... We were in a replay. Sway on flash public execution. This should be nigh impossible. This is 26-9 right now. We made Mbessa Ultimate have a 0.7 second wind-up. That is nearly impossible to land, I think, in pro play on 0 ping, but he makes it happen. Remember, Knight had no flash from that last play, and this was an iffy call here from Top Esports. The Dragon's Rage kick, and it was actually canceled by Fengyue. Because Fengyue used his Wild Growth on Tien, it stopped the knockup from the jungle. That could have been a tricky smite steal. Top Esports finalize it. Did we just get back into this game as Top Esports? Was that bottom lane play from Top Esports get them back in?
We are absolutely back in it, Alec. I am full cope right now. The gold is even. Top Esports have Baron, and to say nothing of Creme, who went off in that fight, doing like 4k damage or something like that. We have brought this all the way back to a position where Top Esports can finish it. JiaQi love is insanely built up as well. I've been hyping up Viper, but we've got a Yunara Lulu on the other side.
Yes, 4 items now. And this isn't an actualizer rise, so some of that damage is not going to be what you're expecting, but we are seeing it here. Creme is outperforming on this rise, and he is pumping out the deeps here in this game. Now it's a 4-item Yunara. This team is absolutely deadly now. We have hit the breakpoints that we wanted to see in Game 1. They never came true thanks to BLG's massive gold lead, and BLG were up 17,000 gold up here in this game. 7,000, sorry everybody. They got all the way to the Nexus turrets, and they weren't able to finish here. Dragon doesn't spawn for another 3. How much damage can TES do with this Baron?
They've certainly got the potential to take this Baron, turn it into a game-winning position, but we are late enough in the game out that if BLG win a fight, they can win the game as well, and pretty darn easily at that. Top Esports can't afford to roll the dice on any plays. 3 minutes left on both objectives. Will likely be the place where BLG and Top Esports both choose to fight.
What a tense game. This is so important, not just for the standings. For BLG, they cannot get any lower than first place, thanks to them being 10-2. But for Top Esports, not only would a game win keep them into second place standing, but I think more importantly, try to keep the conversation around this team positive as we go into the postseason. They need this win. They need to keep themselves alive here in this series. And this game now has become so much closer than I think Top Esports or BLG were expecting with how the early game had gone.
Certainly something Top Esports need, though, to avoid that perception. And it's tough, like when perception turns into reality of whether this team really is falling off around playoffs. I think you're right that this comes down to them avoiding a lot of doubts, not only in the minds of their fans, but in their own. Top Esports need to be able to win this game, grab themselves second place, secure second place with a win in this series, and then onward to Game 3. But if they lose this game, history will not remember how close this became.
Correct. I love that point, Dia. History is obviously written by the victors, and at the end of the day, we might forget this series ever happened in a couple of weeks and just say, oh, you know, it was a 2-0 for BLG. So people are just scoreboard watching. We'll have the Scuttle on top side, gives them vision of Tien here in this brush. Needs to be a bit careful. Doesn't know that the Anivia is sitting quite over there. Swingon is sitting in base, and Bin has no Mega Gnar built up here. We're a minute before the Dragon. This would be soul point. This would be soul for both teams if they can grab it. 7th Dragon, 40 minutes into this game.
Basically no vision for anyone but Fengyue gets taken out. Viper does too much damage, and now Swayon's isolated with Bin and Shun on one side of the fight. Well, Bin is all over his backline. This is it. This is BLG taking the game, taking the health bars, taking everything from Top Esports, taking the very shot that they had at winning this game. Into the base will go Shun. Tien still up, but Alec as we close out this game, 38 minutes into it, Top Esports brought us all the way back. They nearly found the win. And the tragic part is that at the end of the day, this is going to show 2-0 for BLG. This is going to show that BLG dominated Top Esports. And as we said, history will not remember how close it was.
You know, I look around, I don't see any horseshoes. I don't really see any hand grenades either. Kind of just seemed like a pretty fair slap around here from BLG. And, I mean, look, they threw down the wall. They got down the damage. Fengyue, at the very last moment, may have just costed his team a playoff seeding that is preferential. Just being higher up in the standings, if you're second seed, you basically get 3 different teams you get to look after BLG pick their first opponent for playoffs. And if you go any lower than that, you're going to really start to get some of the scraps. I mean, you might even get a Weibo, honestly, at the end of the day, because I don't think any of these teams really want to face a Weibo suddenly who just spike really hard in a first round of playoffs and sent you into the lower bracket immediately. So, unfortunate here for Top Esports. It was like a game of margins. Just the very last moment, everything just falls apart. And that's the game.
It's tough because, I mean, that's 2 games in a row where Top Esports have had to play, as they approach the mid-game from a macro perspective, as close to perfect as they possibly can. Once you get behind enough, every mistake means so much more, and by the time that Top Esports get to the place where they can win the game in game number 2, one misstep from Fengyue that might otherwise, 20 minutes into the game, been completely ignored becomes a completely unfeasible.
Sucks, man. Just, I feel it's so weird because now we finished the round robin for Top Esports. This was their last